My name is Helene Thurstel. I am a fat activist. We meet a lot of shaming and a lot of harassment from people who are angry. And it's not really about what's right or what's wrong. It's about having the freedom to do what you want with your life. And do I want to spend my life being miserable, or do I stop being at war with my body and say, hey body, let's be friends instead?
36-year-old Helene studies English in Aarhus and goes by Chubby Dane on Instagram, which is her main platform for daily activism and spreading body positivity.
My way into activism was kind of gradual, because it started with me just trying to make peace with my own body, because like many fat people, I learned to dislike my body and blame it for basically everything in my life that made me unhappy. So I just started following other people that I found inspiring, and some people followed me back, and I followed people who were also like on a journey trying to accept themselves. And it just started with like putting up selfies, and then, okay, I'm gonna take a picture of my thighs, and then I'm gonna put it up and hope people don't think I'm disgusting. And then they didn't. They were like, yeah, well done, and that was great. It's like when friends hype you up and go like, yeah, you look great, or I'm so glad you said this thing, or I can relate to it. It makes you feel confident and makes you feel glad to have like a network and a group of people around you who are celebrating you. But then I go out into the world and I get surprised. Oh yeah, that's right. Regular people out in the world still don't like fat people. But I kind of forget, because I've built this community around me.
You might think the word fat is offensive to people like Helene, but she thinks otherwise.
The thing is, if you call me fat, I can say, yes, you have eyes, congratulations. So if I decide, it can't be used against me, because it's just a way of describing my body. It takes away its power. It becomes my power instead. Because thin people still get really uncomfortable when I say I'm fat, and then they go like, oh no, you're not fat, you're beautiful. And then I go, did I say I was ugly? So I want to reuse that and say I am fat, and it's actually okay. I call myself fat, and I encourage others to call me fat.
It is not just about how they are called. Fat people face many other challenges, one of them being to find clothes that fit.
If there is something, we might find one item, and then what if that item is ugly? And it's like, okay, that's what I get, thank you. The amount of X's are also very limited. So they might say that they have plus size, but then it only maybe goes up to my size, but a person bigger than me still wouldn't be able to find something.
Even though the world isn't always kind to Helene, she has managed to find Chromosome, a diversity bar in Aarhus where she feels safe. She started volunteering there after doing a talk about fat phobia and has stayed there ever since.
One of the things that I really like about this place is that we get people from all kinds of walks of life. That means being able to have some really nice conversations with people who sort of like strike up a conversation and ask, so what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a fat activist. And then they're like, oh, what's that like? What's that about? And then I start talking about marginalization of fat people. And usually they go, oh, I know how that is, because I experienced something similar as a trans person, or as a disabled person, or as a racialized person. So I know what it's like to be excluded and to be marginalized and to be shamed for like how I look to people, because thinness and health aren't the same thing. And I think that's important for us to understand, that just as much as we can't look at a thin person and assume that they're healthy, we can't look at a fat person and assume that they're unhealthy. And we can't assume what we eat, how we exercise, or if we do. There are more important things in the world to worry about than being a certain size. Like, nobody's lying on their deathbed ever thinking, oh, I wish I'd been thinner before I died. Like, who cares? Like, have you lived a good life? Have you enjoyed yourself? Have you surrounded yourself with people you love? Have you laughed and danced and done all the good stuff that makes life great? Or have you been stuck on a treadmill, ashamed of yourself? Is that how you want to spend that life? Because it's not how I want to spend mine.